Hi everyone. Audio's all right? Yeah? Okay. We're here today afternoon to discuss play, pause, progress, how artists are shifting focus to an audio-first approach. It's a very long title, so I had to read it from my phone. And I went to an SSC board. You would expect that I would be better at by-hearting things. Evidently not. Also, no wonder I was quite rubbish at school. But, like I was thinking about this, like how I'll read this, like why can't I not memorize this? So you just start thinking about, just your earlier years, right? And most elder millennials and people beyond that generation, like we really learned a lot about our world through audio, right? Like our first memories are usually like someone telling you a story, it's a parent or a grandparent telling you something orally. That's how you experience stories, right? Music also, I think the first time we would have experienced it is someone singing you to sleep, right? And in that sense, it's not a new shift to audio, right? It's the human mind and the human experience is very audio first by itself. So in a way, this is a return to an audio first world. And you don't have to take my anecdotal experiences for this. Like even the data sort of talks about this, right? Like Luminate, which is a music research platform, they put this year-end survey out every year, and one just came out recently. And one of the things that they spoke about is there are at least 100K tracks, right? It's 100K plus tracks at this point that go live on streaming services every single day, right? Most of these are audio. They don't have video on them, right? And this is also it's a 10.8% increase since 2022. So the demand obviously exists, and that's why the supply is sort of going up. And I think the first question to sort of ask is why? Like, what are the cultural, social reasons that audio is sort of becoming a big part of our lives, right? And I was thinking we'll kick off with that, and maybe Jay, you could talk a little bit about this.
Thank you, Akhila, for setting the context. I feel the last 3 or 4 years have seen the biggest momentum shift towards audio. And I personally feel there are a list of reasons why this has happened. It's not a one-off, it's a very strong movement towards the discovery of audio. The first of these reasons is COVID. You know, when we had this massive lockdown, a lot of artists worldwide and a lot of content creators, a lot of labels didn't have the facility or the availability of going out and creating videos. And that time, a lot of these artists who had home studios or access to making audios at home had no other option but to put out audio and for people to consume. And this was also the time where a lot of big production houses, movies, could not shoot content. That's why when people were spending so much time at home, they did not have access to newer content coming out of video or television. And that's when audio listening and music overall took a big upside in consumption. Number two was the shift in habit from a lean in to lean back. Uh, so what is lean in? Lean in is basically you go and decide what you want to play and actively choose a song to play. Lean back is basically you let the app or the playlist to do that for you, and also you can multitask. Now, this entire phenomenon of the consumption of audio going up happened on the back of people consuming music on the back of playlists. From just consuming from a single song or deciding what song to play, the consumption is moving towards consuming from playlist. And that is ensuring that you play one song and keep it in the background. You don't need to see the visuals of what you're playing. And when you're multitasking, doing 10 things, the audio keeps playing in the background, so it's largely the audio that you're discovering. The third big reason is the explosion of consumption on short video formats. And that's where a lot of audio discovery is happening, because what people are seeing is not the original video. They are seeing the creator's manifestation or expression of how they visualize the video aspect of that audio. And hence a lot of audio discovery was happening in short video formats. For me, these are the three main reasons why we saw a lot of shift in consumption and discovery shifting from video, because India always used to be a video first country. We were always used to watch music, then listen to music.
The number of times we've heard that in a meeting.
Exactly.
Like at least the last 10 years, it's like
Yes,
wild.
yes, and then they always used to say India is a country which watches music. You
My
know,
mom still does though.
yes, yeah, a lot of people, and I think these three are literally the top three reasons why we're seeing this huge shift of consumption and discovery moving to audio.
And I think it makes a lot of sense. And somewhere with the one thing I felt like was underlying all of those, it sounds like there's a certain flexibility with audio. And I think this is a great place for Dhruv to sort of come in, because you are essentially an audio platform, right? Like, and we also spoke a little bit about the flexibility of audio. So maybe talk to us a little bit about the consumer side, also advertiser side. How are you seeing that audio is just, I guess, natively better suited for both?
Yeah, so what we see on Spotify is that a huge number of Gen Z consumption happening. And if you see youngsters today, they're doing three things together all the time. And they're at least on two screens at any point in time. So while they're listening to music, they're on the laptop doing homework, or they're like chatting with their friends and watching TV, etc. So this background consumption is heavy. It's not that they're not paying attention. They're able to pay attention to both sides. And I have like 2 teen boys, and I always ask them that, what are you focusing on? And they're like, both. So that consumption is massive, and that's what we see going up dramatically. Also, the thing is that with headphones and really high quality headphones coming, we are seeing people listening to music on the go, whether it's like workout or commute or like even doing household chores, people are listening to music all the time. And that is what is driving a huge amount of music consumption. Let me give you an instance from podcasts, because that's also a word I kind of know. There are so many people listening to podcasts. Today, our attention spans have gone lower, and we are not able to read long-form articles, but we are able to listen to them. Also on podcasts, there's like such like wide variety of great content available that you are able to listen and assimilate a lot more, because you're paying a lot of attention to that. So what some of the research that we are doing, we see that when people are just listening to stuff, they are much more attentive, and their retention goes up dramatically. And so this kind of audience and this kind of time also opens up a huge window for our ad sales teams. Because today, what we are doing now is that we are opening up times in a individual's attention span in the day, which video cannot address. So while, let's say, you're commuting, you're working out, and all those spaces where your eyes need to do something else, your mind is still attentive on audio. And that opens up a massive ad sales opportunity for us. So I think those are like really big drivers in the market.
And that makes sense from a platform consumer point of view. And Armaan, as an artist, I'm sure you create the audio first. So it's sort of, I think, again, much more native to you as an artist, but maybe give us the creator and artist perspective. Do you find yourself leaning even more heavily towards audio than maybe you were before? Like, what's your personal experience like?
I mean, to be honest, as an artist, at least, my initial part of my career was as a playback singer. So my focus was always go into the studio, sing, and the song releases. And there's obviously, if it's a film, there's a music video for the film that's attached, and it goes on, say, YouTube and other platforms that were available at that time. So my process was always audio related, never video related. It's only when I became an independent artist is when I thought, okay, this is the song, now what do I do about the video? Because like you said, in many rooms, this conversation has happened that Gana release hua hai kya? And then someone asked me, acha, video aaya hai kya? So everyone thinks that a song is released only when a video is live. And that was a general notion that was going around. But today, I think, I don't think that is the case anymore. Even though I would still say like Heartland India still considers like a music video as a release of a song. But especially the younger generation, like how we mentioned the Gen Z, I don't think they are waiting for a video to drop per se. Also, when they're sharing songs, which is the most important aspect to consider, when they're sharing it with friends, family, they're sharing an audio, they're not sharing a video. Have you heard this song? That's the first.
It's heard, it's not song.
Yeah, it's not. Did you watch the video for this song? It's too much
That
information to
sentence
pass on
itself
to
just
someone
doesn't
else.
fall out of your mouth.
I think everything has become about low information because we are so hyper. I would say there's so much happening in the world. There's short form video, long form video, and you're being bombarded with content left, right, center, everywhere. So the more low information your content is, or how shareable your content is, it's come down to that. And I feel like an audio is easier to share than a video. I just sent a link to someone, they listen to the song. It's as simple as that. And I think that's where we are heading. And I feel like the power is about how good you can create that audio and how engaging it can be in the very first minute, I would say. So yeah.
Totally. And the one thing that you said, which I found very interesting, is that shift for you happened when you became an independent singer-songwriter. And just going back to that same Luminate report that I was mentioning, right? The other thing when I was going through it, and I think it's a little bit my background also, indie music people, we search for certain data points. And one of them was 96% of all those tracks that were being released in the year, they're all coming from non-major distributors, right? A non-major distributor is essentially any kind of a DIY or any of the various kind of distributors.
Apart from the big three, basically.
Yeah, right? So just context for people who are hearing, right? And which would mean that the artists who are releasing on that are not necessarily the biggest artists in the world, right? It has done something for barrier of entry for upcoming artists, I would
100%.
say. And, Jay, your perspective on that, and of course, you also as a label also work with various scales of artists. It's not just big, also people up and coming. Do you think the shift has actually bettered A&R for you? The barrier to entry has reduced? What's your experience on this front?
I think a lot of factors. One, definitely it has bettered A&R. But most importantly, as a label, what we want to see is how do we get the music from artists to the fans in the best possible manner. And how do we feel that attachment between the music and the fans? And I think a lot of focus is on that. Whatever medium we chose to make that happen is an afterthought. And we've tried this multiple times. The other answer is most people start measuring the barrier of success as charts. And do these audio-only, experiments or ideas have they seen significant success? And we, especially as a label, have seen a lot of success with all our artists. We had Armaan release this Spotify single, To You, which is a recreation of his existing single. And that was phenomenal. That doesn't have a video till date.
Yeah.
That was a massive success. We had a song called Maye Jina Sona from one of our artists called Darshan Rawal. It was a conscious choice from the beginning to never release a video for that.
Correct.
And
It still doesn't have one.
It still doesn't have. And that was on top charts for almost 4 months in the country for a track which never had a video.
Where to track it.
Yes, exactly. It was covered on your podcast as well. But, these are not one-off experiments or one-off offshoots of success. These are huge changes in behavior and the way fans consume pieces of their artist. And we realize that a lot of fans now have moved towards the idea of having the audio-first attachment to the artist. When we released Maye Jina Sona, in the first month, it had a little over 2 million reels. That means 2 million videos have been created on their audio, which never had a main video.
Yeah.
And that means 2 million creators gave their expression of Maye Jina Sona rather than a director and a producer or a label deciding their expression of
And
that
that's
video.
2 million more discovery points.
Exactly. 2 million more discovery points. And once we saw this, we followed it with a series of these ideas. We did that with King, we did that with the last Darshan single again, Sajan Way. With Armaan's album, we had so many tracks we didn't have a video. And we saw this, like he calls them Armanians. They don't care whether he serves them a video and audio. What they care is what his expression of music is. And even if it's an audio, they want to listen to it multiple times all day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, I know, Armaan, you do a couple of cool things for your fans. Like, I know you make a playlist, people are doing things. Do you want to maybe tell people more about this?
Actually, there's an Armaan right here, wearing the hoodie.
Oh, I see her. Hi.
Hi, Shrujal, how are you? Uh, I think it's become all about community. I think that is really key in today's music business and music industry in this whole space. With Spotify, actually, I got a lot of opportunity to reach out to my fans in different ways. There were artist playlists which we could put together for our fans. There's a playlist called Hooked, which I update quite regularly. And I leave small hints in the initials of some of the songs, as in to give the full name of my upcoming release. And it's more like a puzzle for my fans to kind of like discover a new release of mine. It becomes interactive for them. They're excited. They want to know what the title is. Second, they land up on that playlist. And in that playlist, I also seed in some songs that I feel I want to push myself. So I would say, all in all, it's a great way to engage with fans, boost discovery for music that probably would not have been discovered otherwise, and build a longer relationship with them, because ultimately it's all going to tie back to them consuming a song, probably buying your merchandise, then coming to see your show. It's all cyclical in nature, and I feel like it all begins from that relationship, the artist and the fandom. And I have really, to be honest, I do this thing on Twitter called Fridays with Armaan.
You've been doing it for so
I've
many
been doing it for years together, and a lot of people ask me, "Abhi bhi kyun karne ki zarurat hai? You know, you already have kind of like built a base." Or I'm like, no, it's a ritual, and I don't want to lose that. It's more like, you know how the family used to gather and watch. Saregama or Indian Idol on TV back in the day. It's something like that for my fans. They want to come and interact with me. It's more like all of us having like a group chat together. And I feel like that strengthens the bond. And I've really focused on that. Even though, you know, releases come and go, I feel like that is very important, because tomorrow, you know, they become big individuals where they're probably leading companies or whatever. It all ties back in. There are so many corporate shows that I have done. I'll give you a very small example where the head of the company happened to be an Armanian.
That's so cool.
And then they're like, I grew up listening to you. Now I'm in this post, and I had the opportunity to, you know, figure out who the artist should be for this show. And I was like, I have to have Armaan Malik.
I so love that.
So I feel like you don't know in what way you can reach out to your fans. And I feel like audio obviously is the most important. They listen, they follow me because they love my songs and my voice. But it's much more than that. It's more the relationship you share with them and how you foster that over the years.
No, that's really beautiful. And like, I think one, props to you and your team. You really reimagined what engagement is, right? It's not just commenting on a post or sharing it with your
Trust me,
friends.
it's not about numbers either.
It's, yeah, exactly, right?
It's probably just a high for that for you to
Yeah.
send, but for that fan, it's everything.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's the quality of engagement, right? Like, I love the fact that for all the marketeers over here, the ROI on that one fan that you reached out to who became the head of the company, that's like a couple of crores, dude. Like, that is insane, right? And you also spoke about discovery. Like, you kind of seed in a couple of tracks that
Yes.
you want to be discovered. And, you know, I think that's a good segue for us to maybe bring Dhruv in, because, like, we spoke about discovery, that lean back, right? So now the opportunity to discover is more, the want to discover is more. How are platforms adapting to this?
So Spotify, if you see, is a very artist-centric platform at its core. Like when you listen to a song, and as you keep listening, Spotify is understanding your listening pattern. But once you, let's say, like an artist or like a song or put a song in your playlist, that further solidifies the kind of fandom you're showing towards that artist. And these are the cues that the platform picks up. And then through its algorithm playlists or through other, let's say, AI DJ or radio and other such features, you get served that and similar other songs. So at its core, intrinsically, Spotify is there to solidify the fandom for an artist and bring them closer to their fans.
I 100% agree with that because there's been instances where on Spotify I've been suggested a track by an artist I would have never discovered if it wasn't for the way you guys have set up the application and the way it lends to new artists. Like you said, there's no barrier entry anymore because of, like, I used to always grow up listening and thinking, okay, there's only Sonu Nigam, Udit Narayan, KK, and Shan. That's it. When I grew up, that was the only industry of male singers. Now, there are so many artists doing so many
Fantastic
cool
point,
things.
yes.
And I think that's made possible because of platforms like Spotify who suggesting so well and you know, you get to know new artists via that.
I think, just to add to him, there's a very interesting fact, which came out. Taylor Swift becomes the #1 most followed artist on Spotify. You know who did she beat?
Surpassing Arijit Singh.
Arijit,
She had to beat Arijit Singh.
I don't
on
know whose side to
Spotify.
take in this because I like both of them.
Yes. No, but can you imagine?
And Arijit is almost there with Ed Sheeran, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. And can you imagine Spotify number of years in India and
5 years this year, right?
It's a birthday.
Today, happy birthday.
exactly
Today is the birthday.
Today
5
is,
years
yeah,
of
5 years
Spotify.
in
Congratulations.
yes. And
Thank you.
in these 5 years, an Indian artist has become the most followed star on an audio platform worldwide.
Yeah. So that's
Now, that is a phenomenal shift.
Yeah.
YouTube has been in the country for many, many years. There have been many video platforms. But the very fact that all of these followers chose an audio platform to follow their most favorite artist, I think that speaks volumes about the trends.
No, it does, and I also feel that you just have, as a listener, right, you're just so engaged because you first hear the audio. You have no idea how this person looks. Sometimes, like, I listen to a lot of electronic music, you don't even know whether it's a boy or a girl who's performing, right? Then you are like, okay, let me see what I'm listening to. Then you see the artist image. Then you follow them on Instagram. So it's like you were already invested, and now you're like in now. Like, now you need to know what's next, right? And like, it's just a higher engaged audience also in that sense when you come in through audio. And I think it's a win-win for, like, obviously the platform, for the artists, for the creators. And I know we have a few minutes left. So I think this is a good time for us to talk about when we have more audio first releases. How does it differ in terms of how you're getting out to people? Obviously, like Dhruv has already spoken about, their platform itself is natively created for this. But let's say you as a label and Armaan, you as an artist, when you're putting out audio only or audio first, how do you think differently about marketing it? And whoever wants to
I
go
think you
first.
can go first. And
I think we've had multiple discussions about all of these things, and we always strategize whether we should go video, audio. But the thing with video is, obviously there's also a level of investment that goes into making a video, which you're not too sure of whether you're going to make money off of that. But audio, you're sure. You're definitely sure that if you put your chips right and you can promote that song the way it should be promoted, you can make a lot out of it. I tried this with my song To You, like Jay said. We also did a lot of experiments on my album Only Just Begun. And going forward, we're also thinking of a lot of lyrical video assets that support the song, and mainly looking at marketing and promoting the song on search, which is most important, via short form apps, like Reels, I think, has been a huge benefit to the industry. I would say it was first TikTok, and then obviously that, where that landed up, we know, in our country.
Yeah.
But soon after, Reels took over, and Reels happened to be this discovery platform. And because people discovered on Reels, then came to Spotify to listen to the song, we've seen that happen. And that happens only because of audio. No one is seeing my music video on Reels and then coming there. They're probably seeing another creator that they follow doing a hook step on one of my songs and then being like, okay, this song sounds cool, let's go listen to it. That is the trajectory that's being followed. And I think that's what has always been our way to think about how to market a song.
yes. So from a label and artist perspective, I think the one big difference which has happened is low entry barrier. The cost of an audio vis-a-vis cost of audio and a video. The very fact that artist now has confidence that discovery is happening on audio only. There are so many more songs coming out every day compared to those days when they were necessarily, discovery happening only on video. So not everybody had the budget to make a video and audio. So that's the first part. The second part is marketing and discovery has become so much more difficult because the discovery is far more fragmented in India especially because we don't have TikTok and we have an offshoot of so many smaller short video platforms and there is also YouTube Shorts and Reels and we've all forgotten, outside of these short video formats, a huge discovery platform which is gaming. The amount of content today's 6-year-old consume and discover on gaming is unreal. We've all seen Imagine Dragons and number of 6-9-year-old in the concerts. And
Alan Walker's all of their favorite artists.
Alan Walker, can you imagine? Now, if this is what the trend is, where discovery is happening on so many more platforms, your marketing budget and your marketing time goes so much more higher. And having an audio-only asset helps us shift some of these budgets into marketing because you genuinely need discovery happening, when it is such a fragmented market.
It's a better prioritization of budgets.
Exactly. And that helps us to then, allocate the budgets and also, more importantly, have this idea of discovery happening on audio. Gaming doesn't have a video platform, but there's so much more music happening because, again, you can listen to music on background. So I think that has been our focus on ensuring that we look at discovery and prioritization of marketing when it is only audio first rather than an audio video platform.
No, and I think that's such a great thing that you touched upon. And another track that really stood out to me, and we also covered it on the podcast, is this one track called Maharani. It's 2 years old, okay? Then no video at all, broke into the charts. And the reason why it apparently broke into the charts, I know, is because my colleague Arpit, who works at Believe, he told me the whole story, is apparently the gaming community picked up because one of the artists did something with a gamer. Then suddenly through that community, people discovered the track. Music videos come out like end of December. And it's like you said, it just breaks down those barriers. It gives artists that opportunity to put the music out into the world, and then they have all other options to market.
In fact, you would make a better music video once it's successful.
Exactly.
You have more funds at your disposal.
Exactly. And that music video is great.
Even though to be honest, as an artist, we always feel like, okay, when I release a song, I really want a video. That is something that all artists' DNA always says, ki haan, mujhe ek video chahiye to promote the song. But we are slowly changing our ways of thinking because we are seeing how to break through clutter of so many songs that are coming out on a daily basis. We have to make our song unique, obviously to stand out. Second, we have to make it easily shareable. Which is where, like I said, it's easier to share a song to your story also. In fact, a lot of people, I would like to name another app, if I may, Snapchat. A lot of discovery happened through Snapchat, and I don't actively use that app, but I see a lot of, listeners and fans when I go to shows.
If you were 5 years younger, you would.
I'm sorry?
If you were 5 years younger, you would.
No, I did use it at one point, but I don't use it now. Thank you for making me feel old.
Just trying to make myself feel better.
But at concerts, I see people putting a story and then adding music on Snapchat. And I'm like, that again is a way of using audio. So I feel like today, like Jay said, that there are so many platforms to cater to. You can get to be creative if you just have an audio asset and play it to wherever. Sometimes you might see a song popping off somewhere you don't even imagine it to pop off. Like he said, gaming. Like for me also, when I used to play FIFA, I used to love the soundtrack whenever I used to play FIFA or a GTA also. We used to listen to the songs in the background and be like, wait, I feel like I want to listen to that song and then go back and listen to it. Which is why, FIFA has this big soundtrack that they release, which has become a thing today. People love FIFA not only for the football, but also for the music. For the music.
And there are so many gaming playlists now on Spotify.
Yes.
Even on Spotify. So I feel like you don't know where a song can pop off. Audio gives it much more chances now. Video is a little limited, but video is a way. Now I think video has come in a way where short form videos come, where influencers, creators can make short form videos, and they themselves sometimes drive a song. You might not even be able, you might have a marketing budget put out for, say, reels or whatever. But for all you know, the hook step that you're making and probably some other creator comes and makes a hook step and the song goes viral from that hook step. So it's out there for everyone to do.
No, I think you said it best. audio gives you much more chances. And I really don't think there's a better way to conclude this session. We are at time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you all for sharing.
I was
all
getting
of your
anxiety looking at the.
Me too, man.
the time.
That thing is blinking
Your
at
time is
me.
up.
We are over 13 seconds. Okay, we are going. Bye.
This is what I feel when I have to make a song under 1 minute nowadays.
No one from Instagram is here, right? Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.